Deacon Joe here, and I had a wonderful encounter at Mary Queen of the Universe, and I promised the family I would share, and I really love telling stories like this. There was a family of five, a mom and a dad, and three little boys, and the mother was pregnant with number four, and they came into the narthex where Father Anthony and I were praying over people and blessing sacramentals, devotionals, people. Big lines, huge group of people, and this little boy was pacing back and forth. And the father says, well, show him what you want to show him. And the mother said to me, he's been dying all mass. He has to give you something. And I said, what do you have? And there's offertory envelopes in the pews where pilgrims can put money in or whatever, checks to make a donation for Mary Queen. And the little boy, 6 years old, Noah, had drawn on the back of the envelope an unbelievable depiction of Jesus and different stages of Jesus' life. And the mother said, he's been dying to give this to you, and he wants you to have this. I said, you want me to have this? This is beautiful. And the back of the envelope had a picture that he had drawn of Jesus and had a line down the middle of Christ. And the mother says, explain to him what you've drawn. And the 6-year-old says to me, well, this half of Jesus is his God side, and the other half is his man side. And then he had a crucifix drawn with Jesus on it. And I said, what's this? He says, well, that's Jesus on the cross, but this is his glorified body because this is after the resurrection. And then he had a little picture with Jesus with a stole, and Jesus was walking on water. And then he had a little drawing of all the apostles around the table and Jesus in the middle. And I said, what are these figures over here? And he said, these are angels. And these are angels welcoming Jesus into heaven when he ascended. This kid's 6 years old. And I have to tell you, I said, well, I'm going to share this story and put it on our website. And there's the envelope. And you can see this is amazing for a 6-year-old to have this ability, but to know all this about the faith and willingly want to share it. And he says, Father, can I have a blessing? I said, well, I'm not a priest. I can bless you, of course. I'm ordained, but I'm a deacon. And the mother stepped back and she says, oh my goodness, you're a deacon. And I said, yeah. And she says, well, I can't believe this. And I said, what's the matter? And she said, he didn't want to talk to anybody but you. He insisted that you were the one that he would speak to. And now this all makes sense. And I said, I don't understand. She says, we've been asking him for quite some time. What do you want? Do you want to be a priest someday, Noah? Or do you want a family? And he says, I want both. And she said, as a deacon, he can have both. And maybe that's why he picked you, not knowing you were a deacon, thinking you were a priest, but he picked you to give his drawings to. And I said, well, I talked to the little boy a little bit afterwards, but what a blessing that we receive when we serve the church, because we encounter the faith in so many ages and demographics and people and cultures and everything. And it's truly accurate when we say that we receive so much than we could ever give. This little boy, 6 years old, Noah, and I'll post a picture of the family that we took afterwards with this post. He gave me an unbelievable blessing, an unbelievable gift, and something that will last for me forever, because I'll continue to pray for little Noah and his family, because it is clear he is filled already with the Holy Spirit. And I think Noah is going to achieve some unbelievable work and acts on behalf of the Lord with his life. And I can say he certainly has started that already with me. And he reminded me very much of Carlo, St. Carlo Acutis, soon to be saint, because Carlo was a centerpiece, the anchor for his family. And although his mom and dad are are filled with the faith and obviously have instilled it with him and in him. Little Noah has done a remarkable job of drawing them closer to the faith and enriching their spiritual lives as well. So if I could ask you humbly to keep Noah and his family in your prayers and give him the strength and conviction, keep him safe from all the threats of this world that will try to draw him away from the faith, and include in your prayers the hope that he continues the path that at 6 years old he's already well on in loving and serving God by loving and serving his people. So thank you for your time, and take a look at the picture. We'll have it with this. So thanks. God bless, and see you soon.